Good evening, ladies. Good evening, gentlemen. Let's get straight to this video. A freaking 1462 versus Unbreakable. You don't have to separate it yet. I'll just leave. Let's get straight to it. An important set of doctrine I follow: the zero noise protocol. What's the subject? Defensive mastery and mathematical conversion. Me. Offer is obviously done on me. Transforming chaotic positions into inevitable victories. The core philosophy behind this trash: a lucky player wins by finding a trick. A master wins by removing the possibility of tricks. In this system, I do not gamble. We do not gamble. We do not hope. We do not look for traps. We win through sincerity. A sincere win is won through the opponent is not defeated by a blunder, by an absolute reality. You can no longer have the oxygen to continue. The problem: what is this word noise that I'm talking about? Any element of the position that creates unpredictably checks, sacrifices, tactical complications, the risk, even at a 5+ advantage, always allows an opponent to swindle a draw or even a win. The 3 pillars of this doctrine: the muzzle, the neutralization. Before you can win, you must silence the opponent. Identify the source. What piece is creating the most noise? The active queen, the jumping knight. Force a trade with that piece immediately, even if it feels boring. By removing the most active tool, you meet their ability to create chaos. The freeze now, which is the halting of the opponent. Let's even get to it. The liquidation. Let's even go and start with the game. My opponent starts with an freaking king pawn opening. I respond king pawn opening. He opens with the bishop's opening. I respond with knight to freaking f3 to attack his pawn right down over here. Just count the squares. These are all the freaking squares I got. This is all the squares my opponent has. This is the difference. Look at the amount of squares that he has and that my opponent has, and that will continue to add on for the dong on loan term, right? He goes a freaking knight from me, knight f3. I take immediately his knight. He takes my knight back. I immediately push my pawn over here to immediately force a take. Either freaking this, the doggone this to this. This is attacked, or freaking that's it. I force him to make a decision. He moves his queen out very early. I immediately attack his knight again. He jumps into freaking f7, which is the only mistake I made, is I overextended this pawn. This was an inaccuracy on my behalf. I gave a fork up for no reason. I take with the king. He checks me, causing a little bit of tactical chaos, which was my mistake. I move out the way. He takes my freaking pawn. I immediately attack the queen again to force the queen to move. Moves back to freaking e2. I immediately take back the hanging bishop with my queen. He pushes his pawn on the f pawn to attack my knight. I slide backwards to defend it. Why? To simply gain more space in this diagonal knight squares. And even if he takes, he decides to get more space in the diagonals. I immediately offer a queen trade. Let me explain it to you, ladies. I allow him to take my knight so I can offer a queen trade. He decides to ignore it, which I still am allowed to take the queen, so I don't. Why? To simplify the position. Now I immediately move my bishop to gain more control of the light squares, and to freaking, if this pawn goes out, it is. Let's even count the squares right now for me and my opponent. Knight goes here, knight goes there, 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 and there. This is all the squares they have, and this is all the square I have. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, freaking 8, freaking 9, freaking 10, freaking 11, freaking 12, freaking 13, 14, freaking 15, 16, 17, 18, freaking 19, and my opponent had around 10. Now this is the liquidation process. Let's even go back, right? As the queen gives me a dang old check, I move my king out the way. The trading policy: I'm trading pieces, not pawns. He takes, I attack. He moves, I take. He wants to trade again. I offer him my knight so I can offer a queen trade. He takes, I offer a queen trade, which is forced. He moves knight defense, I take. Opponent takes. Look at how many pieces of material he has. 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 points of material, and I have, let's even count for material. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Think of the material difference too. The option in check, does the opponent have any squares left to make a threat? Which is, in this position, quite frankly, only here. His pawns can go to make a threat, which is just a hanging pawn. Knight can't go. Knight's not going to go here because it makes a threat. The bishop covers this entire diagonal. It's an absolute clusterfuck for him. Now, the endgame is not a game, it's a math problem. So I continue to take more squares and slowly try to force this into an endgame. Why? He's doing the right thing by swarming his pawns and making a big fat pawn chain. But I simply try to continue to trade more material. My opponent obviously makes a couple mistakes. Let's explain now. Why did I do this? Bishop to F freaking 1, the bishop to A freaking 3. Is to cut off this back square where the bishop has the longest scope of diagonal. That's why. The K, nope, can't stop this. Right, I immediately, the knight takes. My rook takes. He pushes his pawn. I immediately check the king. The king is forced to move. I immediately double up on the rooks. He immediately freaking pushes his A pawn. I move backward to stop the freaking D pawn. He pushes his freaking B pawn. I take the hanging pawn and freaking the C pawn. He moves his rook to defend his freaking A pawn. I move my rook to attack the bishop. He moves his bishop. I attack my G pawn to the rook. He moves out of the way and I can take him. I take the rook. Bishop takes. Knight moves over here to go to force more trades. Why I offer another trade. He says sure. I make double pawns and attack. Captured this way for a reason, to control more squares and to stop any of this pass pawn nonsense that could potentially happen too. This pawn is completely isolated. These pawns are just useless. This one important covers the important square. Now, even let's get the move 39. Move, bang, 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 bang. Wait, I offer the rook trade. He moves out the way and offers my trade to take my bishop. I move my rook over here to fork this pawn and this pawn. My bishop is defending this pawn, by the way. So, I move, he moves to attack my rook. I force the trade of freaking rook takes bishop, king takes rook, king takes rook. I immediately start taking the opposition rook. Now, right, all my pieces over here, these two pawns are going to be my best friends. So what do I need to do? Get my king there as soon as possible and stop this pawn from passing. I could have made the move of freaking pushing this pawn up here to close the structure, but I didn't even want to risk it. Immediately bring my king to freaking E5, pushes his pawn to A pawn to A4. I put my king to E6, pushes his pawn to B freaking 5. I move my pawn to check. He takes my pawn. I move my pawn, and I've already built the red carpet. It's literally just a king attack, king moves, pawn pushes, pawn push, king moves, king freaking protects the pawn. Push, queen in check, mate forced in 1, and that's the game. So, what is the importance of this trash? Look how I wasn't looking for about attacks, I was looking for control this entire game. Me building these double pawn structure is gonna even force a, let's even make it analytical, let's say before I even get to the freaking Persian square, and freaking, right? And my opponent, let's go back, decides to continue to push his pawns, right? Let's go to the analysis board. Let's go here. Let's say my opponent decides to go here, right? Takes, and freaking takes. Right? Shuts down, everything's dead. Let's go back to another one. Let's see another one. If he goes here, I just continue to move my king up here. Makes sense? So these double pawns have a specific job to trap one of these pawns so they don't get promoted. So, let's say I don't leave victories of chance. I completely annihilate the pieces on the board to make it into a math problem that my opponent can't solve. So, what does this tell you? As a player, chess is based upon math and geometry. Don't play for activity or active pieces. Play for control of squares. Every single move slowly controls more squares or liquefies the position. You can see me right here artificially casting. Oh my goodness. Every single move is a forceful move, or a controlling more traders, or forceful trades. And this is why I won this game against this 1463. So, I hope y'all learned some, and enjoy the rest of this game. I'm going to play it one more time. Hey, freaking, that's all, gentlemen. Out.